If someone had told me 10 years ago that I'd be here today, I would have thought they were crazy. Hey guys, Jen here. I am coming to you from my home in Croatia. Now, a lot of people are sometimes curious as to how I met my Croatian husband. How did this even begin and how did I get here of all places? So I'm going to tell you the story today. Okay, so to set the stage, I have to go quite a ways back, all the way back to March of 2010. Now that's not where I met Milos, but my cousin and I went to Vienna, Austria because I was doing some coaching for a CD recording project at the Staatsoper. So I was working with some of the coaches there, but we had lots of free time. And while we were in Austria, we made a special trip out to the village where my father was born and my cousin's mom as well. And we got to actually see it. It was really exciting, and the whole family got really excited about this event. So my mom said, when we came back, my mom was like, you know what? I want to go to Europe. I've never been to Europe before. So what happened, my dad, now let me say that my dad had been promising my sister and I a trip to Europe since we were kids. And he said that we would go when we were both done with college. Well, needless to say, we got to that point. He said he didn't have the money, and this was kind of put on the back burner, and we never thought it would happen. So again, fast forward to 2010, my sister and I are in our early to mid 30s, and finally Daddy's like, well, you know what? We're gonna take a river cruise. And I was like, isn't that kind of expensive? He's like, I don't care. I'm paying for it. Consider this that trip I always promised you girls. So we were like, all right, that's awesome. We're going on a river cruise. We started planning, and then the next summer of July 2011, we show up in Nuremberg, Germany to the ship for our river cruise. Now we were early, I'll admit it. So this guy in a uniform comes running out and grabs our luggage. So he grabbed my luggage in particular, starts pulling it towards the ship just as I'm taking that first picture of that boat, and he photobombs my picture. Of course, I had no idea who this guy was gonna eventually be in my life. Anyway, we had a wonderful cruise. We hung out several times with Milos and one of his friends who was the captain, because don't get me wrong, my sister and I really enjoyed our time that we had with our parents, but river cruises in Europe tend to cater to an older demographic. My sister and I were really itching to get out and do something, go to some bars when we were docked overnight or something. So that is essentially what happened. We went out a couple times with Milos and his friend, had a great time, hit it off, and honestly, we became Facebook friends. I have to say this because this is the most important part. So I went home back to the US, was Facebook friends with Melosh. We were messaging each other once in a while, but honestly, I didn't think anything would ever come of it. I never thought I'd see this guy again. I was dating, I went out with different guys. I wasn't really serious. My first marriage had ended and I wasn't interested in any kind of relationship, anything serious, period. Nothing. Anyway, so looking ahead, I was deciding to plan an audition trip to Europe in early 2012. So I'm getting that all together. I decided to make Vienna my home base while I'm in Europe because I already knew it and I was really familiar with it. I knew coaches at the Staatsoper so that I could get in some coachings with them while I was there. Everything was laid out. And in the meantime, Milos and I had been talking a lot online and hitting it off, finding out we have more in common. So I just out and asked him, hey, you want to visit me in Vienna? He's like, yeah. Anyway, fast forward to February 2012, Milos comes for his week-long visit in Vienna, and everything changed. We had such an amazing time. We got so much closer in such a short period of time. Again, I had no idea any of this would happen. One of my friends that I worked with was like, you never know, it can happen in a week. And I'm like, please. Needless to say, on that trip, when he visited me for that week, Before he went back to Croatia, we planned my first trip to Croatia so I could come and visit him before he started his work season. We decided that he was going to come and visit the US after his season was over in the winter. And then not long after that, we actually started talking about our summer vacation so that I would come over and we would have a summer vacation together and it would be great. So a week and a half after Milos left, I was in Croatia seeing his hometown. So when Milos left Vienna though, after that week, I knew I was falling for this guy, but I didn't realize how hard, and I cried my eyes out, and we were talking after that, talking on Facebook all the time, and it was so cutesy and lovey and romantic. And then I was like, what the hell are you doing, Jen? I decided, what is going on? This can only end in heartbreak. How is this ever going to work? You know what? I should break it off with him before I get hurt. However, before I did that, I just put something out in the universe. And I said to my late grandfather, who has helped me with signs before, I don't care if you believe in that or not, I do. My pop-up helps me from the great beyond. And he had given me signs in the past when I had really important life-changing decisions to make. So I said, Pop-up, I need a sign. Do I give this a shot or not? So guess what? That night, 30 seconds after I asked for my sign, I get it. It's a long story to get into all the details. If you really want to know, we can chat in the comments or whatnot. But anyway, Pop-Up gave me the sign, so I was like, all right, I guess I'll give this a shot. Woo. Anyway, for 2 years, because we had all of our trips together, all of our times together were great. Me visiting him in Croatia, us having our summer vacation together, him coming to the States that winter, me going back again to Europe, to Vienna the next winter. But every single time we were taking those vacations together, when we had that intense amount of time together, things just got better. And when we had our longer times together in the winter, we just kept getting closer. So even though those first 2 years were long distance, the times that we were together were really wonderful, and we were just super bonding and becoming closer. Here's the thing though, neither of us could stay in each other's countries at that time. The thing that made the difference is that I found out I could get an EU passport through ANCESTRY with the country of Hungary. I will do another video on that, but that's gonna be something different. I'll get into the details about that later. So in the beginning of 2013, I found out I could get a Hungarian passport, and I had to go through a very long, well, to me it was very long, but I hear in the grand scheme of things not so long. It took about 1 year and 4 months, but lo and behold, I became an EU citizen and I could stay in Europe because Milos could not stay in the United States. After I got that passport, I made a big decision, and that was to move to Europe. The big motivator, let me say, was obviously being closer to Milos. But at the same time, at this point in my life, I was still just working primarily as a singer, part-time as a teacher, but singing was my focus. Still trying to build my opera career, and Vienna was a great place to do it. It's the center, it is the mecca of classical music. It really is, still to this day. It's been that way for hundreds of years. So it was perfect combination. I was gonna move to Europe. Milos was still a crew member on the ship, but his tours always went through Vienna because of the Danube River. And then I was there, I found a job teaching English, and I was starting to try and make connections while in Vienna. After living that year in Vienna, we thought it would be better if we could be together as much as possible, duh. But, of course, you know, Melosh was working as a crew member on this river cruise ship, so he got me a job alongside him on the river cruise ship as a crew member that season, the season of 2015. At that point, we're both crew members together at that time, 2015. I'm not gonna lie, I did not love the job. I loved being closer to Milos, but the job was grueling. If you ever take a cruise, just be very kind to the crew. They're working really hard with no time off and not a lot of pay. Anyway, now bear in mind, during all of this, I still considered Vienna to be my home base in Europe. I still had a lot of stuff there with my fantastic roommate from the year before, and I still was trying to get established still in the classical singing world in Europe. Now, right before we worked our season as crew members together, that winter Milos proposed. It was February of 2015, not Valentine's Day, but Friday the 13th, the day before, so we wouldn't be cliche Valentine's Day engagement proposal. And that's when we decided to start planning our wedding. We were going to have a lovely seaside wedding here on the beach in Croatia, but of course we had to do all this planning from being far away, but we got it done, we did the work. We also decided to move to Croatia as our home base in Europe. This is where Milos is from. He has family here, he has friends here, and this, quite honestly, is the best place for long-term security and investment as far as our futures as well. 2016, we both start working as tour directors. Crew member work is in the past. That year, Melosh was working land tours, you know, the buses with the group tours, and I went right to working as a tour director for river cruises. Different company than the one that we went on or that the one that we were working before. But at this point, we had really moved up in the travel industry. Again, it wasn't the direction I wanted to go in because, you know, my whole life had been dedicated to music and to singing, but I was highly encouraged by the company that I started working for to bring my music to the job. So I get to sing concerts, I do lectures on music, I do bus commentary on music. Yeah, I still have to run logistics of the tour, but I get to bring my musical background to every single tour. So I'm pretty much doing like a recital or a concert every 2 weeks. And I'm getting to have that part of my soul and personality still fulfilled. We get to travel all around Europe. In 2017, Milos came and worked for my company, so now we work for the same company. We get to do about half of our tours together, so we're not apart all the time. And then in the off season, we split our living between the US, because you know we still got that Christmas caroling company that I have to run, and Croatia. So off season is US and Croatia. Honestly guys, if you told me 10 years ago that I would be here, I would not believe you to save my life. I could never have imagined any of this. I went from my beloved Pennsylvania, right below Bethlehem in Quakertown, to the Adriatic coast. Come and take a look. It's a windy day, but really, honestly, look at this view. Look where I am. And my Croatian kitty. Oh, right on cue, Tiger. Who knew how much life could change? Honestly, Milos and I always joke, you never know what can happen when you go on vacation. And guys, thanks so much for watching. It is super important, if you do like our content, that you would like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out so much. Appreciate your watching. See you guys next time.